morning, I guests and aspiring entrepreneurs present here. On behalf of XIM, the E-Cell of Academy, we take immense pleasure to welcome you all to the annual Entrepreneurship Summit. I am Rajesh, and I am your host for today. We are privileged to stand before the gathering of overthinking minds with a deep appreciation for the ever-evolving landscape of entrepreneurship. As we gather here at this summit, let's remember that we are part of a vibrant community of innovators and problem solvers. So let us take this opportunity to share experiences, to learn from one another, and to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Today we are embarking on a journey to explore the theme of today's event, local legends, inspiring tales of homegrown success. We'll be celebrating the remarkable achievements of entrepreneurs who have significantly impacted their communities and industries. Their stories serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration for all of you people to carve your own path. So buckle up guys, let's dive into a day filled with insights, connections and entrepreneurial spirit.
Before that, let's get to know the close event. At first, we'll start by introducing our speakers, followed by a panel discussion and a strategic solution round, after which we will have a Q&A session. Now I invite our panel members and esteemed guests to mark the beginning of the event by lighting them.
First, we have an inspiring entrepreneur with us who has blazed a trail in the energy sector. Please welcome Ms. Nikita Balyar Singh, co-founder and CIO of Nexus Power. Ms. Nikita Balyar Singh is the co-founder and CIO of an eco-friendly battery tech company, Nexus Power. She strives to build a sustainable and greener planet. Her startup is building lithium-free, biodegradable electric vehicle batteries from chrome residue. She has been felicitated by the Governor of Odisha for her innovative work and contribution towards the startup ecosystem in the state. On the education front, Nikita completed her bachelor degree in the business management from our prestigious Xavion Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar. Following this, she went on to pursue her master's in media and mass communication from the same institute. She also completed master's certification program in nanotechnology, battery management systems, electric vehicle engineering, innovation and strategy management from IIT Roorkee, Madras, IIM Bangalore, etc. Also, she has been featured in Forbes 30 Under 30, Entrepreneurs Magazine, Entrepreneur Women to Watch, Working Class Women at the Workplace Special Edition, MG Motors and the Better India Changemaker Season 3, and PMI's Global Future 50, to name a few. Ma'am, we welcome you to the summit. Please accept the bouquet as a token of our gesture.
Next we have Mr. Biswajit Shaw, the founder of Protein. Mr. Biswajit is a seasoned construction management professional and a startup founder who has a strong urge and singular mission to create skilled core engineers from various sectors for nation's growth. Previously, he has been the founder and first line faculty of TEDx University. As a civil engineer, he has been associated with JSW projects as engineer in charge in marine projects. Currently, as the founder of Protein, he has been instrumental in upskilling 15,000 plus construction professionals and students from various companies and institutions. Protein is funded by IIM Ahmedabad Ventures and currently has a user base in India and 12 plus countries. Protein is also supported by Nexus US Embassy, NSRCEL IIM Bangalore, Startup India, Startup Research, and other renowned organizations. Biswajit, through his work at Protein, has been covered by various renowned magazines like Digit, Your Story, etc. Sir, we welcome you.
Next, we have an entrepreneur who is transforming early childhood education in rural areas. Please join us in welcoming Mr. Binayak Acharya, founder of Think Zone. Binayak Acharya is a dedicated leader with over 11 years of experience in creating positive social change through innovative solutions. He is the founder and CEO of Think Zone, a social enterprise that focuses on providing quality learning opportunities for children in low-resource settings. He is an alumnus of Xavion Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar. He leads a passionate team that leverages accessible tech solutions and community-based interventions to nurture children's foundational skills. His commitment to social entrepreneurship has been recognized by prestigious organizations such as the World Bank and CIMEC Mexico, and he has been received grants from Geek Prize, the International Youth Foundation, and other sources to name a few. He has shared his insights as a two-time TEDx speaker. He has also gained valuable experience working in organizations like United Ventures and L&D Infotech. Binayak firmly believes in the transformation power of education and is dedicated to create a brighter future for children worldwide. Sir, we all welcome you proudly here.
With your remarkable experiences, we look forward to this opportunity to gain valuable insights that will help us kickstart our career.
Today we are also honored with our prestigious guest, Ms. Nishita Balyar Singh, co-founder and CEO of Nexus Card. Please give her a big round of applause.
We now request the audience to follow the basic hygiene instructions. Please maintain silence, keep their phones on mute, and avoid moving inside the auditorium.
Today we are also honored with the presence of Mr. Krishna Singh, Client Solutions Lead in Forces Limited, an XIM alumnus and one of the most dynamic coordinators in the legacy of XIM. Please give him a round of applause. Let's welcome Harsh and Siddharth as the moderators of today's panel discussion, who are also the fellow XIM members. So over to you guys.
So I believe my friend Raghav was too excited for the meet. So he mentioned about felicitating the guests, but forgot about the bouquet. So now I like my team members to felicitate the guests with the bouquet. Thank you. Sir and ma'am, I would like to welcome you all once again. And friends, very few of us start on the business idea that we think upon. We are very eager at the first stage, on the ideation stage, but then the question arises in our mind that how would we do it? But now amongst us, we have speakers who have embarked on the journey and they'll be sharing their experiences, the good, the bad. So keep taking notes, and if you have some questions, we'll take it up in the Q&A session. Now we start with the panel discussion now.
So I just start with one of the questions that I have. When I was speaking with my friends, we have so many ideas. We have many ideas to start, but it takes everyone because we have many classes till night. So what is the first step that we should take? If you have an idea, what is the first step that I should take to be an entrepreneur? Like, how do you take this first step? When it's over to all, anybody can.
Thank you. So I think for me, the first thing is obviously to find a women who believes in the idea. That's the step one. Right? You have to find someone who can run with you in the journey. That's the step one to it. Even though he or she is not able to continue for the entire journey of yours, but the first couple of years or first couple of months, at least for the scratch idea to go ahead, I think that's the first thing. I want to go on with maybe others can. I don't know.
Building on that, ma'am, you have your sister as your co-founder. So, can you share that experience, like having a co-founder at home, how you manage work life and then personal life?
So, as you mentioned, the first step is to find a co-founder or team member who can resonate with your idea. So, I mean, that was not required for me, honestly, because we always wanted to do something together. So, we were so sure that whatever we do, find, build the company together only. So, there was no searching for a co-founder. But for me, from a personal point of view, Sunishita and me are identical twins. And we spent like all our schooling and college everything together. So I was that kid who used to copy her sister's assignments on her own. So we used to submit two assignments with different colors and the same content. That was my journey as a student. And of course, I mean, we were good as students, but I used to find it easier to be precise. So for me to have her as a co-founder was actually no brainer because I've always been doing it and having her taking major decisions. So I was like, there is nothing to think about it. But to have a co-founder at home, many times we learn about. We sometimes don't understand whether we are talking about the office or talking about work. So sometimes we end up fighting on things personally, and we reach all the way to the company level where we fully develop the company and all that. So yeah, it was a little difficult at times, managing personal and professional life with the same person around you for us. But I think that's how it was meant to be, and that's how it is being so far. So it's working well for us. Really, really well.
So it seemed like you organizational development, because I also copy from my brothers and sisters, especially during exam.
I used to do it.
Yeah, I definitely like it. Like, you have easily taken an idea. You have easily taken an idea, commercialize it, make more profit. But why did you turn to social entrepreneurship? Why not just entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship?
I don't have an answer to that.
So, see, at the end of the day, any business gives some social value to the society. You can say, in a way, you can also tag Zero as a social enterprise for the way they, say democratize internet data. But yeah, for me, it happened, and again, it evolved over a period of time. How we sort of initially started as a B2C model, wherein the idea was okay to create social impact, but then have an economies of scale model. But then slowly, over a period of time, as an organization, I personally realized that that is not the way to go about it. So, in a way, then it was up to us to take a call whether we want to pursue what we are currently doing with the motive of just profit, or is it more to do with social impact, but then on a sustainability of your organization as a whole. So we chose the latter one, wherein yes, focusing on the overall sustainability of our organization, but the mission with which we started has not changed. So why social entrepreneurship is maybe because how we evolved over a period of time, and in a way, social entrepreneurship doesn't mean that you are only working towards benefiting the society as a whole, but since you have an organization, the focus also involves how to make it sustainable in the long run.
Thank you, sir. Very well explained. So, talking about sustainability, I'd like to have a view from all three of you. Like, is it a well marketed term or is it the need of the hour? Yeah, do you truly believe or the entrepreneurs truly believe to be sustainable, or is it just a marketing gimmick that overall entrepreneurship world is playing around? The question is open to all of you.
For us, we are generally very sustainable. We are not playing around with those terms. Because we started off with this idea of trying to manage the concern with battery waste. Because once the life cycle of the battery is over, there is no worthwhile way of disposing it. And if you study a little bit more, you know that lithium is also very hazardous for people and the environment. Likewise. So the basic idea to start with a company of battery technology was to try and take care of this problem. That lithium should not be as harmful as it is, and we should have a way of disposing of batteries. So the easiest way was to make something which could just be created, right? Where you don't spend too much money in recycling it or reusing it, you just put it in the soil and recreate it on its own. So that was the idea with which we started the company, and that's why sustainability, yes, it is something that does catch the eye of media and investors alike. But there are plenty of companies genuinely looking at how we could grow sustainably. There could be a few who are using it, not become sustainability, but green packaging or green something kind of green tech kind of a term is being used like a charger which convinces a lot of people. But more than the idea of being green alignment, it is about working for the environment. And I'm sure everybody who is concerned about the environment is not using this term only to convince people. It's generally being worked on that way, and that's how it is supposed to be.
Okay, I would like to add on to that. Before that, just intro to the audience. First startup makes, you all know that electric vehicle runs with lithium and battery, right? So first startup makes battery that contains less lithium, and it is made with farm waste and agriculture waste. Okay, and by the way, it claims that the life of the battery is 20 to 30% more than normal batteries that we have, and it takes it charges like 10 to 8 to 10 times faster. It charges more. So this is like I don't know an electrical engineer, sorry. I find it for an electric vehicle, but this is a breakthrough technology. So like where are you right now, and will the product come to the market, or like what is the stage?
We are currently piloting with two-wheeler, three-wheeler, OEMs, and we will do a commercial in 6-7 months time. So, because you mentioned the log base and the fast charging, I let you know that we did not start the research with a fast charging battery in the mind. That happened because the very element we use has a property of faster electron transfer. So that is not like a USP we developed, it was just existing available element that we use. And as far as farm waste is concerned, again, that was another problem with northern parts of India. Air pollution and burning of that waste, and we just wanted to cater to that problem as well. And this purely was just luck by chance, I would say, that we picked up that residue and we started extracting the raw material from them. So there was no kind of a eureka moment for us, but it was purely about things just telling this to kind of complete the next step.
Very well explained, ma'am. Continuing with the sustainability part, this is you come from a civil engineering background, and in construction we see that it takes a lot of pollution. So on that front, do you have any steps in mind in future you are going to work on that, or some ideas which makes construction more sustainable in the long run?
If you see carbon credits and everything being passed on by different companies, so construction obviously is a big hazardous overall from end to end. If you speak about because once from the manufacturing of the elements that are part of construction to even the finishing, there is a lot of carbon that is being diffused into the entire environment. So there are being materials, a lot of experiments even from the building blocks to things that have been worked out by various companies. But they always get the catchy thing that comes in, because I come from a core construction background, so we just don't want to play around with words and words. See, industry and experimental analytics are easy, but then again getting to a scale because construction has a lot of problems. It can't, it's one of the most disorganized sector altogether. Most of you, even coming from a core side of engineering, but less than 5% will go for a core company. There are reasons for it, right? Maybe. So that is the thing, that is the problem. I think it might take years now to understand, but there are certain processes that rebuilding codes by government of India like Bihar and IGBC. There's a lot of things working with certain of their programs. But yes, it will take some time, and there are technologies which are looking to cut down that.
Since you mentioned about government and policies, so I'd like to ask you a simple question. Like, if you meet the Honorable Prime Minister today, and for that matter, our Chief Minister today, and if he says that he is granting you one wish for the whole startup ecosystem or for your startup, and the question is open to you all. So, what is the one wish that you ask him?
One policy change or something that
Policy change or anything?
for betterment of startup ecosystem.
You want a diplomatic answer or
No, proper, very proper answer.
I guess this is in general for the ecosystem and it doesn't apply to Odisha or as a country, like as a for all states who have a startup policy. I feel if we could do less of events and give more unrestricted small grants to organizations, that would work. Like for piloting solutions, we are only giving, say in Odisha, maybe say like many states, we are giving like 10 to 12 startups. Right? That was not the big on us. Yeah, it's not for you. But then yes, if you ask me, I feel like more could be done in giving, budding entrepreneurs with a small pool of capital, and even though out of every 10, say one will succeed and 9 will fail, but that would give a better, add-on value to the startup ecosystem instead of spending that amount on huge events.
So we can come straight to the entrepreneur rather than having events and marketing the entire thing. Give the actual fund to it. Give the actual thing to them so that they can fund it. Yeah, it's technology.
The government won't be happy.
Anyone you can add on to it.
So grant for money is obviously one thing, but there are certain why I think a lot of these things does not come in. People have, there's a word someone used as a grand GD. There was a word someone has been using. So there are a lot of people who are just entrepreneurship is not about 1 year run. It's a long journey. If you are ready for the entire war, go ahead. If you are just for the battle, man, it's not the game. So maybe that is one thing, but yes, I agree with my fellow panelists that funds have to be given, but then again, also I think government bodies have to be proactive in certain processes, because even I know a lot of applications are stuck at different phases, and people just for the sake of not doing or because they have their stipulated time of the day, and that's they don't need every other day to look out for all these things, and also the departments of government should look out for more support. Like, I don't know how much he's getting the support from the state, from that specific department of maybe renewables or anything that she should be looking up, or he should be looking up on the social side, or I should be looking for the education side. If the departments have to be more proactive, some states have been doing that, that's why they are. Mind you, this is being recorded.
Yeah, I just like to, I want to differ completely because funds are important, there are timelines, but from my point of view, personally, it is more important to, create a creators or thinkers environment, create an innovators environment to build the startup ecosystem, to keep funding. So what I wouldn't name the startup obviously, but what the government or at least the startup also is doing, keeping it off the cause for sure, is they are looking at numbers more than the quality. So in that space, what happens is people tend to misuse the quality that they give. And so they run multiple programs of sometimes it's village, sometimes it's something or the other, engineering course and all. So the kind of startups that come out and apply for those grants and those competitions are sometimes not even related to the entire time. But they kind of go to their problem statement and push it into their space. So this creates a little problem who's actually getting the funds and who not, because the entire checking mechanism is not. So my point of view, you need to first build the entire ecosystem where if you are somebody like me who wants to build a bank, can go ahead and access those labs. Because look for those equipments as a fresher, somebody who doesn't have too much of funds in the beginning, you need those labs, those institutes to first support that development, to help you build the basis, and then go ahead and raise funds to build the manufacturing plants. That's the first thing we need. Second, we need to have a very smart control mechanism. You might give the funds, you might begin the process, but if you don't know who is actually using it and how well it is being utilized, it is still going down the road.
Since we are in the regulations thing, I've seen all these startups based out of Bangalore. I'm in Bangalore, like, but you are based out of Bhubaneswar. Just give us a chance, will you go to Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, or will you stay in Bhubaneswar and research for that?
Because we have been focusing on the state as a whole and taking into low middle income states. So for us, maybe the headquarters of an organization doesn't matter. We were incubated long back at NSRCL and we were given a space to have our offices there. But I again don't think that location has a big influence on an like organization's success. Again, it's my take. You'll get a pool of you can say good people, maybe in Bangalore, and people who say that oh, we are not getting good resources in Bhubaneswar or in the state as a whole. But I think times are changing, and everyone is looking at Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities right now. So I don't think for me maybe location initially to reach out to have a good network when I was starting out, maybe things were not there. But right now at this stage, there is a lot of networks which you can easily get here in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. So I don't think location is a constraint at least for me.
Right up on this, how many of you after exam you are gonna stay in electricity? You are aspiring to work in an electricity. How many of you are? That's simple answer, right? Companies will certainly look for, I don't know, no one or your aspiration is to work in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, or go out. That's it. So that's one big problem. Once you scale, you need certain resources that can't come in a tier 2 city at a stage. Obviously, I agree to what she has told that you need a network of people also once you scale. The initial things can work out, but once you scale up, you need a team and you need a lot of connection, support, and expertise. Now, we are also founders. We are not being made out of century. We have been less than 10 years into this game, so or maybe a bit more. So we want certain people whom you can reach out to. And so big cities offer you that because they have grown faster. What has been the growth of maybe Gujarat, us, Odisha is still, so if you want to grow ahead, you have to connect with people. But yes, I think have certain advantages also in terms of the cost, in terms of your limelight also, that because you are not lost in between on the crowd that bigger cities you have. I think we can have.
I differ with the limelight question. I don't think location creates a difference in limelight for sure. Because sitting in Bhubaneswar, if we managed to teach in the Forbes 30 and all of the other so on and so forth, so Bhubaneswar did not create a difference there. And again, limelight, as I said, it doesn't count with location. There are plenty of startups in Bangalore who are struggling to find their way. As far as location is concerned, I think certain projects need a little movement. Certain things where it doesn't matter much, it's okay. So for me personally, I don't think location matters much. Because we started off from here, we stay here, and we're looking for commercial here, okay, and very recently, I'm born and brought up here, and I know the ecosystem well. I know people in the government, I know people in the city. So for me, anything would be a first-hand approach directly. So why should I go into another city and try and find my way when I already have a path made? So that's the personal point of view. But as far as other startups are concerned, yes, sometimes you might not need to just shift your location, but you have another office, another branch somewhere else to harness the potential of both these cities. It's just a decision that the founder has to take as it may required to operate.
Like you said, we are keeping up the spirits of founders who are in Bhubaneswar, and this is the spirit tag. So this is tag come a joke that is going around on engineers, like when we throw a stone outside and every second person it hits is an engineer. So such a large base of consumers, and you are targeting a niche segment of civil engineers. So do you have any plans of taking it to the other segment of engineering?
See, so this entire solution that we're trying to create has been a personal problem that I've seen while working in a big construction project. I have spent years in marine construction. So there, upskilling is a need because what you see is a lot of people do not relate to big projects if they have not spent a couple of days in that spectrum. So construction is obviously one thing, but core engineering overall is something that we are focusing. Beyond construction professionals that we are upskilling currently, we have users from government, private, everywhere currently. And then oil and gas sector also, we have been doing certain programs in electric vehicle also. So core engineering has to be our focus. So yeah, I mean that I don't know how is your population out here. I think 15-70% would be engineers who are joining in management. My aim is to keep them rooted even if they do their management to work in a core company. That's what I aim for.
So like, just changing the gears now. Like when I was in my 11th, I got the word startup. It was a very fancy term. I thought I would be entrepreneur. Then I thought I would be making money, all those stuff. And the mass is that the salary is there. But when I was trying to start, it is a risky. So I'm hearing so many success stories about how people are thriving it. Can you just throw some light on the failures? I just want to know about the failures, how risky it is. Like any failure that you faced, or like any advice you can give to others?
I guess I have more failures than successes. So, like failures of what? Failures in what? There are different domains of failures in professional life. Like when you start with maybe a startup which you started earlier and failed or
You listen, it's something that is not going on track.
okay, so in terms of failures, the number one or the you can say it as a media learning. The first learning that I had because I had a I graduated from here is focusing too much on strategizing and writing things on business plans. This is how your projections would be. So when I started out, like I spent not an awful amount of time, but 4 or 5 months just into that of planning, of strategizing, and now in the hindsight I realized that in those 4 months I could have started. So that I guess is the first maybe a learning that I had or a failure is when you have an idea and you are asking this question initially also, like how do you start? You just start. It could be a small, POC. It could be related to, you doing some research. You just go to your end users and just start working, and then you can go from there. So I guess that is one maybe learning or failure that instead of focusing on, getting awards and, filling up presentations, those 4 or 5 months could have been used better to, just go out there and work on the solution.
Looks like you are too inspired from case forms.
So yeah, in my colleges that was the thing also I just came directly from colleges like when I was in the second year like I was there everywhere. Like I was a kid, I was writing a B plan and getting awards. So that thing was there. So when I started, I felt that is the way it should be. So instead of going ahead and working on yourself.
That's a really valuable person. I don't know that.
So we are a very intensive research and development. For us, a research failure is like once in every 5 minutes or once in every 7 minutes. Yeah, so we work with materials science. And we have a team of 30-35 people with majority of them PhDs in material sciences and into the R&D. So when you have PhDs as a team, so they are very enthusiastic, and they have that noble prize in mind every time they step into the labs. So what happens with that is you tend to lose out on your timelines because the R&D guys don't understand that you can build version 1 and version 2 and version 3. So they want the best version directly at once. So the number of experiments they do is directly proportional to the number of failures that happen. Right? And then the kind of motivation that you will keep giving them as management students, you have to keep telling them that they will do version 1 first. Then go ahead and research and update that version of yours in the back end. So considering failures, yes, R&D failures are in plenty. As far as professional timelines are concerned, so we build our goals based on a particular milestone tracker and timeline, which often we miss because of sometimes our own shortfalls, sometimes because the environment factors play in the opposite direction. So these are not failures for a matter of time, but these are certain setbacks that we get in the journey, these are challenges that we have to face as we keep going forward. So far, we've had plenty of these challenges, of these shortfalls that have happened. But of course, as a team, we have to face and go ahead. And if you just call it a failure and walk back, I think that stops the journey.
What do you keep yourself motivated? Last term, I got a bad grade in one subject. I'm not taking an elective.
See, during my education, I was in the same space, and I did not take a lot of my decisions because my decisions too. So to keep yourself going in the startup, this is something that we really love, and it's a passion. And we want to build it to a level where we're able to substitute the original packaging. So when you have that kind of passion for something, these certain shortfalls actually don't push you up. You have this in mind that it's okay, you try something. Let's move ahead, keep this aside. So what for us has been very important is to be emotionally stable. And I always believe this for anybody who has to be a company or startup founder, you have to be emotionally very, very stable. You cannot get too excited in your highs, and you can't be too depressed in your lows. The emotional graph has to be linear, and that's the only thing that helps you sustain. You have to run this race for a long time. As you mentioned, it's not a 1 year or 2 year thing. It's like a journey, and it has to go on. So for you to be a part of that journey in the company, because in terms of management, company and founder are different entities. So the company is going to go on, but for the founder to be a part of it for a long time, you have to be emotionally stable.
So this week I like to push the question a bit for you. So yeah, you might have faced changes, we all do. So you also face hurdles while starting up, but you are reluctant to learn a skill. Maybe as a founder you are not aware of a skill which you want to use in future. But while starting up, you have to learn unwillingly. So what is the lesson about that skill?
So since for us it has to be a thing like whatever we do. I am a hardcore civil engineer, not into coding, not learned it. But then again, because a lot of the issues came up, people were not like they were shifting gears, they were going out and everything. So at least I learned how the entire spectrum worked about, right? Like I was able to understand the AWS of it, at least what the code implies. I might not still now able to code, but you understand no one can clear out. If the next guy comes, I can see what he is able to do. So that I updated, I think.
In the same domain, Vinayak, I have a question for you. Like, since you are native Orissa, okay, so it would be easy for you to explain your horizon in Orissa because you are a native speaker and you understand the language. But talking about taking on a national level, how do you think you maintain the distribution and the government agencies or government workers will work around? What will be the stakeholders of this expansion?
Despite being based out of Odisha, it's actually you can say not like a conscious decision to just work here in the city. So only whenever there is a requirement or whenever we get a demand of implementing our work in some other place, maybe in other states, and we are right now in talks, we are very happy to explore that. In the initial stage, when you are just starting out, yes, you would love to test it out and want to expand in your existing areas of strength maybe. But after a point of time, you are looking at places outside of your comfort zone. Again, for us, it has always been, and this again we learned from in the hard way of trying to expand in the areas because we are based out of here. So right now our focus is whenever there is a demand from outside, and that is how right now we are evolving and growing. Instead of we doing a lot of push based expansion, whenever there is a demand based sort of requirement or expansion, we are happily exploring that.
So we spoke about failures and all. I will ask for one more question. How do you measure the success of a startup? Is it the impact, the revenue, or the valuation, or the impact on the society? One, how do you measure the success of a startup? On your environment, and that can be more than one.
One answer. Yeah, I think for the social entrepreneur, how do you measure your? So for us, it is just not about outreach. We focus a lot on impact. So when we are saying that we are reaching out to educators, we are reaching out to children, we focus on has it improved the learning outcomes of children. So we do a lot of assessments. We partner with international, we can say other independent organizations, but our main success criteria is that if we are reaching out to say 100,000 children, are we able to improve their learning outcomes in some way? If we are training X number of educators, have they benefited out of our programs in some way? And we try to measure that quite a bit. So for us, it is that. Yeah, and in a way, like you need money to do social impact, right? So if we are reaching out to 100,000 kids, it means that our work is expanding. Right?
How do you make money? Do the kids pay? Do the parents pay? Or
it's absolutely free of cost for our individuals. It's you can say it's a B2B2C model where someone else pays for our work. Again, like if you ask me this question, how are you making money? Like in terms of classic, you can say mathematics. I always believe that your income should be more than your expenses, and if your income is coming out from a legal means, right? I don't care whether it is B2C model, B2B model, B2G model. It needs to be sustainable and it should be more than your expenditure. That's it.
like if I'm wrong, we are solely dependent on funding and grants. If I'm not
We partner with corporates, we partner with international foundations, we partner with other non-profits. So it's in that way. Someone else is paying for our services to implement it.
Somebody CSR will be your.
Yes. So we tried the B2C model and had shared with a few other team members also. So we piloted based on our learnings and our experience.
And with me, what about you? What is the success of a startup in one word?
Because everyone has a different focus. We come from a social focus. I come from a medium social because construction is not a high paying or poor engineering. You say electrical and everything. It's a very different game. So for us, two things are very important. One is if we are focused on professionals being 90% of the business, am I able to increase their salaries or their roles? That is more important. And how much people are able to translate because of the B2C business as of now. Number of users or number of demographics that we have been able to, these are the two things. Obviously, revenue will come in because B2C we are, so these two things will drive the revenue. But the impact related to education it has to be there.
So I actually don't term it success. It is more or less like achieving milestones for us. It's because success is a very, very broad term, and there is a long way to go for us to reach that level where we call ourselves successful. So milestones we set multiple of them, most of which are driven around the product and around how much impact we make when we place it in the market. I think also the milestones change with the kind of stage we are at. And again, because currently we are into pilots and POCs, so for us that is the milestone that we will be able to properly successfully finish the entire pilot and have good data review. Eventually, when I move into the commercial, say 7-8 months later, then the sales and the revenues will be my milestone. So it would change, and none of this would actually fall under calling ourselves successful. So it will all be milestones and goals that we set and we achieve them. So I mean that's what the entire script is for us now. When you set your goals and you achieve them, that's more or less what you want to do.
one more question, this is very important for us right now. What skill do you look at people when you hire them? What skill do you look at them? What skill do you want them to have?
I have absolutely no blueprint of that. There is no number in, especially when I was hiring. When we started off, it was just the two of us as founder, me and my sister, and we were doing the hiring ourselves, playing the HR's role. And trust me, even till now, I haven't understood what worked for us, what did not. The first set of teams that I hired actually did not even end up in the office. So COVID happened and they suddenly vanished. And then we had another bunch of people. So we started off with initially biotechnology engineers. Then we moved to molecular sciences. Somewhere in between, we also hiring product designers and account to finance people. So there is no blueprint that I have. One thing that I do believe that I make sure we have in all our team members is the trust on the product because it is R&D and it is innovative. There's nothing to do with what already exists. So we believe that the team who wants to join us should trust that this is going to work and make an impact. And second, they should share the same vision that we do. That we want to build the company. We want to reach a level where we are selling these batteries to I think every OEM in the world. And they should be able to play that along with us. So I don't want anybody stepping in and saying, sell it off Tata or sell it off to Tesla or somebody. I want them to stand and tell you that we build the manufacturing plant and we will be at that level where people come and buy from us. So anybody who resonates with our vision and it's nothing to do with our gender, honestly, men, women, even PGs, anybody who's open and who understands our passion and our principle in the company is open to us any day, anytime.
Next, very easy. Have the same vision, trust on that, internship is coming soon.
So now I think I will just add up. I think all of this answer because we are a business, we are running a business. So for us, someone who is having two things, one is the urge to do, even if it comes from anything, right? Even if it is shipping in the gear or so that is one thing you have an urge to do that thing, that is first. And second is you have a networking or sales. Wherever you are people connector, you'll be able to find a way out. That's more important for a running business like us.
Enough of serious questions. Now we'll move on to some lighter questions. We'll be having a rapid fire round. I will be asking each of you 5 questions, and we'll start with Vinayak.
First always. Right from left.
So you might answer it in one word, or you can give explanation behind it. So,
But one sentence.
yeah.
Explanation, if it is needed, then one sentence.
Suppose you love cricket, why you love cricket? So one celebrity you like, you like him or her like also brand.
Living person. Anybody. One celebrity that you wish endorse the brand.
Salman from Khan. Okay. Next, sorry, so next question is venture capital or private equity?
None of these.
Honestly,
Sorry?
or then what is
From own revenues.
going to home.
Great. Bootstrap or fundraising? I guess you answered the question.
Bootstrap.
Bangalore to Bhubaneswar.
Bhubaneswar.
Last one, work from home, work from office.
Work from office.
Thank you for your answers. Now we move on to Biswajit.
So, a freelancing or a permanent job? Permanent. MBA is essential or not?
For different role. If he or she is like I think you have seen Suits. Have you seen
politically correct?
No, I'm not politically. I'm telling you, you have seen Suits, right? Show. So that guy is not a lawyer, but if you have a personal connector, MBAs obviously are an advantage, but you can still scale.
Okay. So, a dinner with one entrepreneur, then new entrepreneur. Assume he comes and
Very difficult question. Maybe with unacademies, founders.
Okay. And the most unexpected skill you have had to learn by starting up, other than coding, etc.
To learn to accept that people might go tomorrow. even if they had signed up for the job, tomorrow they would be out.
Appreciate the job. Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Like,
Night owl. Okay. Yeah.
So moving on to Nikita, online networking or offline events?
Offline events.
Why so?
Because it's easier to walk up to a person and speak, but to wait for them to type your message, it's a long time.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah.
I do, but still, it takes a long time.
I doubt this source. A book you like to recommend to our audience?
There is a book called What Got You Here Will Not Get You There. That's interesting. I haven't read it completely yet, but as far as I read it, it sounds good. You can Google it, find out. But I think more than those motivation books, movies have gone so for me. The films that people make on business and share markets and all that. So that has always gone more. So if you are not a reader, I think I remember the films more than books. They teach you more.
So now you mentioned about movies. Which movie actor do you relate your leadership style with? With Kabir Khan from Chakra India or Ranveer Singh from
I mostly relate myself to the body hero, so not that I'm kind of a leadership. But I somewhat like the film Bazaar, Saif Ali Khan, and I also like Guru a lot. So Abhishek Bachchan and Saif Ali Khan. That is the two characters. I mean, Guru Kam Desai and I don't remember their name for that, but those two characters I relate to the most.
continue the same genre. If your startup was a song and you are doing it right now, please can you explain it with an example of a song?
Oh, the song.
You can relate a song with your startup. Any team song or something.
Situation that you are facing.
I think there's a song from a movie called Nala Rajana, something like that. That would be my song for the startup because that's what we keep doing every day in the office.
Last question again. Which entrepreneur dead or alive would you like to meet and have insights on?
I would like to meet Nicola Tesla because he was a visionary and I know he's dead, but the kind of ideas he had really resonated with what we want to do in the future. So I want to meet him, I want to speak to him, and if possible, maybe get his ideas from him.
Thank you, speakers, for your experiences that you shared and your valuable insights. With this, we come to the end of panel discussion now. Now, I would like to call Kavita Acharya to continue with the strategic solutions now.
Big shout out to Harsh and Siddharth for steering us to the panel discussion. Now let's dive into the strategic solutions round. In this segment, our entrepreneurs will share real challenges they have faced. After each entrepreneur presents a challenge, the floor will be yours. Put yourself in their position and share your thoughts on how you will tackle it. Let's make this an engaging and insightful session. First up, we have the inspiring Mr. Vinay Acharya, founder and CEO of Kingdom. Mr. Vinay, please share your experience. A challenge situation with your
So we bootstrapped when we started out. Like ours is like we initially started with setting up of learning centers in rural Odisha. So initially, what started with few learning centers, it was working out. So we raised a pretty serious round from an impact investor. So the idea was that we scaled the existing model, which was somehow working in let's say small numbers. So when we sort of expanded quite a lot in terms of our, you can say, journey, it was an hyper growth. In 1 year, what we found out was that the model which we piloted was working on a small scale, was not happening. It was not working out. With the money which we received, we sort of expanded to new geographies, set up new learning centers, and the revenues were not coming, right? So then there was this dilemma and because investors have lots of milestones based on which they give the next tranche of money. So ours was a big dilemma or challenge of what to do next. Is it we move out of the existing geographies where we were working because we needed the money, or what to do next? Things was not working out. We had cash flow crunch. We wanted the money, but the existing model was not working out. Is it clear? Or,
Thanks for sharing, Mr. Vinayak. Now it's audience turn to think about the solution. I think it's time to make utilize your skills. Everyone has shared a problem. So if you are in this place, how do you deal with it? All the brains have been using India, all the things of saying the things. Why does the too much? Is the problem clear? You want to repeat the problem? Yeah. Simplify the problem. Okay. We needed the money to move, to grow, but the existing model was not working out. So we had this dilemma. We changed the model. If we change the model, we don't receive the money, but we needed the money. Right? What to do next?
One solution that can I think of is to first receive the money, then start working on your business model, tweaking it a bit on the lines, and then explaining to your investors that.
But you were legally contracted to work on that model, right? You have signed on an agreement that you would be receiving the money on doing XYZ milestones, right?
Is it about a milestone or is it about the contract or what is it?
Yeah, that is the big challenge. Like what to do next as an organization. We have raised money for an existing model, and the existing model is not working out. But you need the money. You have another tranche of big amount of pool of money which you need to grow or to do whatever, to pivot or something. But in case you do that, you don't receive the money.
So I'd like to give it another shot. Since you mentioned you will getting the money, and if you explain it to the investor, most of the startups pivot. So if the investors have a long vision and they understand this ecosystem, so surely I will agree on you pivoting after raising money, and you have to be honest about it that you have to pivot because the current business model is not working.
Let me go and tell you that. Yeah, when you explain that, okay, this is the solution.
Difficult to be in your shoes, you may state your shoes.
So first raise the funds, get a milestone, and then go back and tell them that working is not as easy as it sounds. Because then you have clauses of club forward and club back, which is not equity. So if you don't achieve your milestone, sometimes they pull down your valuation and they call it club back. And also sometimes you come into this place where you have to finally give them some return. Maybe 1%, 15% what 2x, 3x, whatever you pay. If you go and tell them that this project is not working this way and you want to buy midway after the fundraise, then you might end up in this place where they say, fine, we are not seeing your milestones, you pay us 2x or 3x and we market you for around. That is not a very wise solution honestly, but yeah, what I can think of from my point of view is because a particular business model is not working, maybe you can just follow that investment at that point of time first. Because having external investors on board is a different challenge also. When the company is in your own hands, you have the right to take decisions. The moment your investors come on board, your board of directors approval is coming. You have to stick to that board of directors meeting and explain to them it is difficult. So if anytime you feel that your investment is not coming in for the right purpose, I am not inclined to that field of work for which I was planning to raise funds, the first step I think is to look at the partner first, which will be really all of the ground over the vision, and we leave taking any amount later and we dive into what we want to do. I think that should be the first step from my point of view.
So yes, yeah, to your questions, so I think the same thing, it's very difficult thing that she has already covered. But then again, what he has done, he can be the right person to tell you, because what has been his conditions are something that he can tell you about. While we know a lot of times as a founder, you are restless to take money. You sign up for anything, man, take anything, man, go lena le lo, paise de lo bas. So that's the attitude that we go for. A lot of times, so negotiations do go wrong on your part. So fine, like we have to agree and march on. So I think he is the right person to take it. We can tell you, I have no idea. But yes, the only thing is that we can talk. Else nothing, you have to talk and console them that okay, we will do this, blah, blah, blah. And if they agree, fine. Else, you will do whatever you will do, like, no one can stop you. Yeah, we can. Anyone in the audience want to give it a try again? Just guess it. Yeah. There is no right or wrong answer. You can give it a shot. Can you see how near you are to the actual solution? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would say that you have to be honest with the investors, because once you get the money, you have to fulfill the objectives that investors have in their minds, because you have to they are also looking for an exit, right? So you have to fulfill their objectives. So you have to be honest if this model is not working. One question that arises in my mind is, the model was not working, why are the investors willing to fund the startup? So what was that reason?
I guess this question's answer is in everyday's newspaper when you see unviable business models getting billions of dollars of funding. So we are small organizations and they are willing to hedge for us. So that is, I guess, on pen and paper, everything looks fine. We have a pilot which is working in 20 cases. They'll give you to multiply that by 10x times. So they're seeing that like this model is working in limited geographies. Let's put in the money with the hope that this organization multiplies rapidly, quickly, and is able to achieve economies of scale. So it was working in the B2C model, it was working, and maybe I'll give the it was not a solution, but it's a mixture of everything what all the panelists have mentioned. So when we started, we thought, okay, we'll set up learning centers. It would work. It will have digital solutions. It will be like small physical infrastructures, and somehow for 20 places, 25 places. Now when we reached out, it was actually the other way around. Right now, like impact VCs and VCs, they sort of are scouting for organizations to fund. So on the hindsight, like if I look back, maybe I should not have taken the money from the ex-investors and maybe bootstrapped the way and found out other ways of going about it. But when this thing happened, of what to do next, again, like I had to be begging. That is number one, being shameless and saying that this thing is actually not working out. But then you have milestones which we need to do, and that is where you have to again be shameless to beg and request that this thing is not working out. What we did not take it further as of now. So in that way, investors existing, like whatever we had diluted, we did not further dilute our organization's stake. Whatever they invested, we sort of gave it in writing. We did a lot of meetings with them and said that this thing is not working out. It has to do a lot with discussions, continuous discussions, not with the investor but with the team members as well. We had to take a conscious call whether we need to shift our geographies, maybe come to other places, maybe Bhubaneswar, maybe say in other metropolitan cities, which the investors are suggesting, and which many other organizations have also done. If this thing is not working out, investors also tell you that okay, you switch the geographies wherever you are working. If it is not if it's not working out there, you move to some other place and do the work. So there, that was the conscious decision that we had to take. If we are taking the money, we have to move on somewhere else, but then that would have hindered the entire mission for which our objective of which we were founded. So we sort of stick back to the existing geography and we pivoted. We requested that we won't be going ahead and taking the next tranche of investment from you, but this is how we need to move ahead or else we won't survive. So it has to do a lot of discussions internally, externally, lot of requests, and that's how I guess is the way forward. We need to be also practical in what we do, and also we never, as an founder, as an organization, we also never have all the answers to this particular problem. So it somehow evolved over a point of time when a conscious decision had to be taken, and it so somehow happened that we pivoted and are where we are currently.
So in general scenario, if we tell the investors that we are pivoting our model or we are changing our model and that model makes sense, like more sense than our existing model. So wouldn't our investors be yes, your new idea is good and I would invest your money in that? So
yeah, that would work. But that is a conscious call that as an organization you have to take. Whether you need external capital in terms of private equity or venture capital to grow, or you need to bootstrap more. And we choose the latter currently. And because why we raised down because of this fancy thing, and I happen to be had an experience with an investment firm, and I thought, okay, we'll raise money, we'll grow quickly. But sometimes certain organizations are not fit for raising funds. They can grow in other ways also. They can grow organically, with revenues, or in whatever way. So that is the call that as an organization you have to take, as a founder you have to take, and but the investors are willing to also invest if we are pivoting. But if there is a massive shift happening, then that's a discussion which needs to be done in detail. Thanks.
Great try, Xavion. Well, I have one sorry for interruption. There was a question that the woman asked is, why did the investor fund him, right? If the thing was not working. Usain Bolt runs 100 meters. If I invest in Usain Bolt, I think that he can run a marathon. I might think of it, but I can't. I'm betting on him, right? If he's doing good at the 100 meters, if he's able to scale to a 20 centers, I'm thinking that he might scale to 200 centers. So I'm betting. That's a bet that I'm taking as to every day. That's the thing that. So you can't bet on it. A lot of times things does not work out. But yes, it's a scale thing that comes in. I think that.
That was great. So Mr. Vinayak has shown that honesty and integrity is the key to any business. And it was great. So next, we'll move on to the next speaker, Mr. Vishwajit Shah for the training. So we are eager to hear your time.
Yeah. So we focused on upskilling of construction and core areas. I don't know how much participation is there. Anyone having from civil background in bachelor's out here? I don't know. I love this. Thank you. Even if 2-3 people, but it's always happy. So what happens is you and everyone will relate to is once you are upskilling in a domain that is core, a lot of people have a presumption that it can't be done in an online environment. It has to always have a setup. So that was the challenge when we initially also started to focus on a skilling. So then there were a lot of people who were asking that how can you do it in an online environment or a blended environment to scale this up. So that was, I think, very big pointed challenge. So we were able to figure out, and I think if someone has any idea, we can tell. Very crisp question. Yeah. That's it, please.
So I'm not from the civil background, but I am in electronics and communication as well. Yeah. So I do believe that maybe right simulations that have also come up. And the model that we are talking about is something that can be implemented if there is a lot of investment put into these simulations. So even when we are doing an MBA, I have to talk about it from here. Right now we have a strategic management course where we are playing a game where we have our own firms. It's a simulation where we are competing with other firms in one industry. So we are getting a very hands-on knowledge of how this works. And I think the same thing could be implemented in an engineering setting as well, because as we know it's very theoretical as of now. So something like this that is included in the curriculum, the simulation, or especially for civil, definitely I think we could be doing that. We could be integrating a simulation that's already been done. And there have been a lot of companies that have been working on the simulation. I don't know for electronics and communication, not sure about civil, but I think those are things that can be incorporated.
Right. Simulation certainly I think that can be done, but then we need a certain amount of capital to do that thing. So what we did, I don't know if you have anyone else, I can give you the solution. There is a part line between what you are saying, but anyone else, I can tell you what we did.
Any more advice from crowd?
At least from civil guys that we raised.
If you have the government
Manufacturing guys,
would you like to
anyone
respond?
from manufacturing also, like anyone from mechanical or civil, love to hear their perspective.
So we wanted to try a blended.
This is you can go this one or speaker. Yeah.
I guess if you need a physical infrastructure, you onboard colleges who can say are willing to give you the space and you can share revenues with them. This just and so that your online solution can work along with their physical infrastructure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that is part, I think, yeah. Alright. So what we did is we were initially focusing on data of students, then we moved to a mid-management focus. So what we did is we focus our entire business around construction professionals having an experience of 2 years to 15, 16 years of experience. That is a bandwidth of people who have already worked in the initial stages. So they understand the basic concepts and they have already run in the industry. So then after that we are upskilling these professionals in their domain. So let's say someone who is working in an infrastructure highway construction company, they want to start a career in a metro construction. So there is a tweak that they have to do in their career. So we played that through an online. So we brought up professionals from top companies like L&T who have a considerable experience and were able to deliver to these professionals. So we were able to cut that problem statement. Students still constitute 10 to 15%, but 85% still are construction professionals. That has been the focus. Coming to the blended thing, yes, we have done a blended thing. In Bhubaneswar also partner with the colleges, but then again, professionals have to be coming. And we also have in Nashik one partner center, similar ways. So blend has to be a thing. And one again problem that we are now facing is we want to go in a B2B model from the B2C. B2C is there, but yeah, that's a problem statement we are trying to solve right now. If anyone has any suggestions, because we already have done 15,000 construction professionals who come from 700 plus companies. They come from government companies like RBIL, Indian Railways, everywhere to private companies. So that's one current problem that the team is trying to solve, to scale from B2B to parallelly also have a model where B2B also can run. Thanks.
Great, Mr. So now we'll ask my final speaker, Mr. Nikita Paryal to share her challenge.
Right. Good afternoon, guys. It's a Sunday. I know I think we would. I won't keep it very detailed and keep it short. I'll just give you 2 or 3 question kind of thing to answer. So it's not a very old story for us, and it just happens almost pretty often in the company. So we have a management department who are MBAs, management students, with this entire practical learning of operations and scaling up and revenue models. And then we have an R&D team who are typical science and technology research PhDs, underdogs, who don't think beyond their product and their research. So here we had a situation where every day that research that we do, we have to procure a lot of materials. There's a lot of purchase that happens, and so we have an operations team in the company. So what happened is the R&D guys would order the product, and the operations would buy it and give it to them for the research. So often we have this situation where these two departments would start fighting, and that would end up in a proper mess. So the R&D guys are blaming the operation guys, कि ये product ठीक नहीं है, ये specification ठीक नहीं है, ये quantity ठीक नहीं है, so on and so forth. And the operations guys will end up shouting, "इतना है तो चलो," kind of. If you are so busy, then do yourself. So we have a proper documented channel. They write down all the specifications and they give it to the operations team. They order it. Before they order, they ask the R&D guys if you want this or not. And even then, certain mess-ups happen and they end up fighting to that level. But sometimes it's literally like a cat and dog fight. They're hitting each other hard. The operations department and the R&D guys. That's the kind of situation. So my question to you would be, in this space, what would you do if you are either the HR or the founder of the company? Would you hand over the entire purchases to the R&D guys itself because they understand the material and they probably also know a few of the vendors? So would you hand it over to them? Would you strictly emphasize that only the operations would order and purchase and hand over the material, and the R&D would not be allowed to interact with the operations team at all? Would you fire both of these people who have been fighting for so long and hire a fresh team to do the same operations, keeping in mind the same process? Or in the end, would you just simply cut off both the departments and step in between to do it yourself? So what would be your choice if you are in that space?
It's a very interesting situation, a common situation. Rivalry between R&D and operations is pretty common.
As I can see the same as doing, I come back to you, but anybody else? Well, that's the way. EPP or reload.
Hello. Maybe see cross-vertical issues tend to arise in certain situations. So maybe you could try take the R&D team and give them the task of procuring certain materials for one day on a trial basis, and also make the operations teams aware of certain specifications that are there, what they could, why these issues are arising. That the R&D team wants certain specifications with the material that they are asking for. Maybe keep them in the loop of what ideas they are trying to work on. In that way, they could understand the requirements much better.
I would say hiring new team would cost a lot to a company, so that is out of the options. These arguments and these revolts happens in a company, so the probable solution that I can think of is make few persons, few members of R&D team to overlook the whole operations thing. So the few members who are very experienced, who have deep knowledge and other team members, they can oversee whole operations thing, so that no clashes should be there between operations and management team. So this is one of the probable answer I can think of.
Can I speak?
Yeah.
So what I think is, if you make them overlook the overall operations department, that would create even more clashes. What we can do is, we should make them sit in a single space and have them interact. So, for example, whatever the needs R&D department is having, so they should document it and sit together, and they should make codes for it. For example, there are certain things which R&D requires very often. So instead of having a name, you should just have code. So when a requirement arises, they'll be punching for that code, and that code will automatically deal with all the problems that arise. So that can help.
You're talking about automating the system.
Yeah, kind of. But not exactly automating, but just having making a better communication channel would work here, and also having a better systematic material procurement system.
We'll take one more again.
I can see your hand along. If you don't even know, I can talk away later. No issues.
I will allow R&D to order, but I will put a cap on how much they can order. Number one. And number two, I will have someone trusted who would be ordering for both the R&D and also the production needs, so that both the sides are happy and also like the requirements and everything is met. And also I am aware that there are certain samples which the industry gives out. So if I can procure some of the samples, the R&D can use them for their research and design. Because R&D doesn't require a lot of stuff. They require one or two pieces to experiment on and then make the final product. So I believe looking at those certain aspects can also reduce my costs and also improve sustainability in the longer run, as I will be making less waste through research and development.
As a final item, yeah, last Akshay.
Ma'am, I wanted to answer this because I'm a quality analyst and I work with developers and all the time we keep fighting. And I remember we had a similar situation. We were like proper loggerheads with each other. And during the same time, there was also a trip planned. We were all planning on going to Cool. So we all went to Cool, and the people who we've never interacted, we had a party, we had fun, we danced, we talked, and we had alcohol, obviously. So, and then when we came back, there were the same problems, but the way we approached these problems were better. We started looking at each other as, okay, so these people have the same problems as me. So I don't think this is either an operations or an R&D problem, it's more a people problem. So once I feel like employees in a company need to bond, especially when it's a startup. Once they bond, all of these aspects automatically come down. So I would suggest having like a fun session, or taking them out on regular Friday trips. Yes, it would be expensive, capital intensive, I guess, but definitely better than having to hire new people or doing that. Instead, just getting people to understand each other will reduce a lot of this friction automatically.
Right, fair enough.
Great suggestions coming from the audience.
Absolutely, I'm taking all of them in my mind. I'm learning to work on some of them. So now that this is a problem that we faced once and we gave a proper solution to it, this keeps happening. So when I ask you people, like, take those ideas as well and try and implement them in the future. Few things I'll just mention here with the two suggestions that I got. Yes, we did have many employee engagement activities since the first two episodes happened of this kind of a fight. And of course, yes, that did help in the team bonding a little better. Coming to the fact that letting the R&D order, which you mentioned, because I wouldn't personally want to do it for two main reasons. First, that the entire R&D is core to the company. With the team who are working on the product, if you allow them to buy the product, buy their materials as well, you kind of leave out the entire research in the hands of few people who are technically your employees, which you cannot be sure of if they stay with you for long once they know all the different parts of your business. Right? The reason why we have multiple departments in the company is to keep this IP intact. So one part does research of one thing, another part does research of the other thing. If you hand over everything in the hands of the research guys, first you cannot expect quality because this is not their specialization to take care of the vendor procurements and to deal with your customers or vendors. So that needs a different level of communication altogether. Secondly, don't leave out all your elements in the hands of the people who are doing a lot of research. So what happens is then, maybe 2 months, 3 months later, they'll have this in mind, we are only buying the raw material, we are doing the research, why don't I start my own company, why should I work for these guys? So that will be a problem in a very R&D intensive company, but yes, I love the other suggestions, and I think I'm going to take this up eventually in the company as and when required. And because they mentioned about internships, since you have similar ideas, please come and help us solve these problems. Thank you.
So with this, we come to an end to this segment. We like to thank speakers for challenges and audience for actually participating. And now I'd like to pass the mic back to my friend Ashkan Siddharth, who will take others on next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Xavion. Thanks a lot. Can we have a huge round of applause for our speaker for taking the comments and solutions as well? Now, we'll be moving on to the Q&A session, where the floor is open to the crowd to ask your questions.
If we have missed any questions in the panel discussion round, Bhavna, right? Yeah.
First of all, thank you so much for such a very kind question. My question is for all three of you. What would be the parameters on which you judge your idea has a business potential?
I think you should run a pilot first with the specific set of customers that you are in. Let's say if your idea is among some set of customers that are within your college or university, you should run that and take a feedback, and also take some feedback from people who don't like. They would be someone who you think that they would need it. Still take their feedback, also positive feedback, and that's what I personally think.
For us, we have done a lot of market research in terms of there's always a lot of available data to understand the market size and the potential of the market. So we've obviously done all of that research to understand the kind of product we want to give to the market and what is the demand for it. Also with that, one important thing to understand is the competitor analysis, because whenever we step into a particular product or genre or the idea that we have, mostly we do have a few competitors. So if you can understand how the competitors are doing and what is the kind of scale and they have had with the operations, of course we will have our own USPs, they would have their own set of problems, but understanding the market through the competitors helps a lot to build confidence in the idea that you have, because there is mostly few USPs here and there, but the genre is mostly the same. So I would say study of the market, whatever data is available, and study of competitors, however keenly and however closely possible to do.
So I guess the demand of your product or service with the end users, if it is actually benefiting or if you see value or whatever you are doing, be it in a pilot or in a small scale, is actually giving positive, it's positively benefiting your end users. So I think then you can think that it has some potential to move on.
Yeah, we have a question. David, right?
Hello. Good morning. That was very different, I think, interaction from what we've been used to. Thank you for that. So my question is specifically into you, because you've headed a very R&D focused firm. In an age where India is surrounded with generics from pharma to experts, do you think that R&D spending in India or Indian companies, less than 1% from major Indian companies, as opposed to Western companies where R&D spending around 3-4% of revenue, do you think we can move towards that model in the future? How do you see this space evolving and the increasing need for R&D in our business sectors?
See, India is a country of jugaad. We find a solution to every problem we have on a daily basis. The only lacuna that we have is commercially building these innovation-driven ideas. And the very problem for that is that as families, we do not believe or we do not support too many entrepreneurs. we obviously have this financial security in mind. We look at security of life. So we want people to go ahead, do a job and earn a stable income. And we don't actually, we were at least not very open to having people build their own companies, which has certainly changed over the last few years. Rest of companies have a lot of investments coming into R&D because they are open to innovations. As a culture, they look at building new things, which we do in India, but we kind of sideline it with all the regular professional works we need. I would say we are moving to that space where we are innovating a lot. Specifically in Bhubaneswar, we have plenty of startups who are working on medical diagnostic devices, who are working on people like us who are working on battery technology. So there's a lot happening, and fortunately, the government is now supporting the building of such startups, of such ideas. So we have different kind of Government of India and Government of World grants for development of product in specifically these research domains. So they are open to building new technology-based products and new ideas. It is a long way to go, yes, because even now we have certain companies where we are just borrowing the technology from other countries and we are building on it in India. But there are also plenty of companies who are now trying to build their own technology. I would only hope that as much as support we get from our family and our people, we also get that much support from VCs and angels, because we see Shark Tank and they are still very focused on B2C products, on revenue and how you're kind of making quick money, which is not the right way to go about it. We need to have people build and create products to go ahead and have an economy that is really going fast. It's going to take time. We have to have a lot of foreign investments. We've attract a lot of foreign companies to come and set up here and build that culture of innovating. It's going to take some time, but I'm sure we're on the path. And hopefully we're going to reach there faster than that.
Thank you, Bhubaneswar. Is there anyone else who will discuss?
So that was a very insightful session. So my question is regarding the pricing of products in a startup. Basically, in a startup, we invest in R&D and we invest in different kind of innovative products, taking to bringing innovative products and all. So we might come across some big players who are having a loss leader strategy of them. And we might be having incurring more cost than them because of the economies of scale. So in such a situation, what should be the rule of thumb for pricing our products, and what can be the promotional strategy so that we are selling the brand rather than a commodity in the market?
I don't know why it is, but it's a nice question to have. From my point of view, we look at the macroeconomics of how much we spend. Based on that, we add a certain percentage of profit, and then we go ahead to price the product. That's how we normally price the product. But because yes, there could be companies who can sell it for less. There are two things that work here. First, you would stick to your pricing and convey the message to people that it is premium and it is better, and hence the little premium in the price. Or you could cut it down to match the market value and make sure that you go ahead with sales. With each of them, you will have a different share. When you are selling a premium, you have a niche market. When you are cutting down your prices to what the market price is, then obviously you will not have a niche market, and you might have a lesser share also, because then your USP doesn't come across as clearly. But there could also be a space where you want to cut down the price further less than what is there in the market, and you will reduce your profit margins. Maybe you would go at a loss initially, and then you will kind of capture the market and go ahead. But many times, price is not the point of sale for a lot of consumers, especially in B2C. It is always the kind of satisfaction or the benefits that they get out of the product that counts more. I don't think price really matters much and that is how brands are built. Because expensive brands for cosmetics and for accessories are built because the kind of satisfaction and the kind of premiumness that you have in mind, not because what the price of the product is. Otherwise, you would have never had like Burberry and LV and Gucci will be selling in the market. So if you stick to your premiumness and what you deliver in terms of your product, how it enhances the user's personality, that makes all the difference. Price doesn't count that much.
And add to this, I think one thing is that you have to understand the market that you are tapping into. So there are mass market, premium segment and everything that you are finalizing. Every sector has a standardization. Let's say for us, expenses, if you go by expenses theory first, that what is your expenditure that you want to have. So let's say for edtech that we go on, we have an expense theory of 30, 30, 30, 10. So that's a concept the majority of the companies follow. Since we are a revenue generating company, as of now for us, obviously that is very critical for us. So 30% is something that we go for one thing. That's a standard that if you study a couple of the companies, you'll understand that plus minus 5%, 10%, they're all rolling around that. So that you stabilize that what is your expense thing. Then you go ahead with the pricing, I think. Because again, if you are, as you said, there are a lot of bigger companies with whom you are competing, but then your that focus, like what she said or what I'm also pointing out is that you have to focus what is your market. So even that product has a different category of market basis. So you can't tap in every customer with it. So you have to then define the pricing. And pricing is very dicey. For us when we started the product launches, the prices that we started with, maybe we thought it was not up to that mark because to penetrate you have to initially give a couple of discounts and all. But as you move ahead, you have to add on something and start increasing your price once your MVP is done or you are in a position to scale. But you have to do your homework understanding what your competitor, that percentage what I told you, 10 is something that edtechs have been doing major, 30 is the marketing sales cost, 30 is again the tech and trainers and everything, and 30 is the operations and you have the salaries and everything. 10 is the overhead. After everything, it's a profit margin. Generally, that's what we target. Generally, that's what we do as a edtech, any of us.
I guess we are not like our model is not directly like we are not a B2C, but what we have seen like when we also look out for projects and reach out to businesses or you can say corporates, what we see is like what has been done or implemented by other organizations, what was their budget through which they were able to back that project. So based on that, we do a comparison, and in case also we do have a price point which is more than what our competitors have, but still then over a period of time, what I have seen is doesn't matter. What matters is even if it is a little bit on the higher side, it's still and you are able to give that value, they'll be able to give you that go ahead and say that okay, your thing is good and you should get that project. So for us, even if it's a little bit of price differentiation of plus minus 10%, that even if you are on the higher side or your organization's pricing point is on the higher side, customers or end users won't be thinking a lot in terms of that in case if you have a good value for your product or service. Okay, so we go for one last question. Okay, next. You can just raise your hand.
Yes, so my question is open to all the panelists. So as Nikita ma'am mentioned, Shark Tank. So I'm pretty sure that as founders, while watching the show at some point, you might have imagined yourself, pitching to the same panel of sharks. So is it something that you have considered maybe at some point in the future? And if yes, like who is that one shark that you would like backing your company?
See, I did mention that they're very B2C focused, so it doesn't work in our thesis. Honestly, when Nishita and I we watched Shark Tank, we had actually no on the investor seat, so we kind of judged the pitch with business model and how much of valuation makes sense and what the deal is. So we see it from that point of view, and hence we probably never thought of being on Shark Tank or try and pitch to the investors. But if I ever really have to go, I would want to do it because I will only build a brand by being on TV talking about my product because that's like the mass appeal meeting. Not that I would really want some investment, and I do understand that maybe most of those sharks will be very focused on a B2C brand of how immediate money can be made. But Vipinda Goyal is one of my favorite sharks because his eye to retailing is amazingly good. And the way he examines a startup and the way he speaks to them is probably one of the sweetest ways I have seen so far, considering all the other sharks. And of course, yes, Nandita Thakur is also somebody I really look up because she's very clear at the point one, whether she wants to invest or not. And she says that upfront, either I'm out or I'll give you a return. So these are two people that I love to interact with and I want to have them know about what I'm doing. I just want to take their ideas, not money necessarily from that kind of meeting.
I don't think, like, to be honest, I want to go to the Shark Tank and pitch. Maybe because our model is not built that way, and we're focusing more on, how do you grow maybe organically in revenues, and that is how, like, we have been progressing. And but then having said that, I had seen an organization who were working in the education space, in the social impact space, and they had raised around the amount of funding that they got at the valuation and everything. So I felt it was a little bit on the lower side. And again, the amount of capital also they're pulling in. We are in the next stage of you can say expansion. So maybe that amount also is not is what we are looking at. So honestly, to answer your question, like no, I won't be going to the platform.
Thanks. So with this, we come to the end of the Q&A round. I would like to request the president of XIM, Mr. Naman Shah, to come and give you a talk.
Good afternoon, everyone. Each year we try to bring speakers from the startup world to share their entrepreneurial journey and develop experiences. And continuing Exceed Legacy, Xavion has been one such initiative. I would like to express my gratitude to our respected speakers that arrived today, taking our time from their busy schedule. I would like to thank the guests which have arrived here and joined us today. I would like to thank the administration, SEC, placement committee, Illuminatics, media and PR cell, and excellence for covering the conclave. Special thanks to Ranjan Khaina and his team. Without their support, we wouldn't have been able to pull this off. And the audience for participating. I hope you like the chocolates and did not do the same in your country, because then I would have to pay for money. And last but not the least, this event would not have been possible without my coordinator, Sabri Panda, my 4 members who are standing there at the back, and of course the enthusiastic shadow team. So a big round of applause for them also. They have been working tirelessly. Usually a faculty comes to moderate the event, but this time we wanted to do away with it. And yeah, Exceed all about doing new things. So, Krishna and Akanksha ma'am, who have joined us today, I would like my team to present them with the bouquet. As a token of our gratitude, Mr. Krishna was Exceed's very, sir, I will, yeah, please bring your forward. And of course, Nishita ma'am. Sir, ma'am, you will also take a photo. Mr. Krishna was Exceed's 16th and 17th batch coordinator. He was the one who gave us this name, Exceed, the entrepreneurship cell of XIM. We also got to know yesterday about it. Earlier it was called the innovation cell, something like that. It is because of his efforts that we are standing here today. Yeah, Akansha ma'am for joining us today. CEO of Nexus. And of course, Alan of XIM. That's it from our side. I request the audience to start moving off in an orderly fashion.